So, before this video begins, I do want to give you folks a little heads up on what's going on with this video. So, just a heads up, I am trying out something new just for today. So, I originally tried to record a video on my PS5, and what I did was I tried to get the gameplay on the PS5, and then I tried to download that onto like my phone. So I try to edit it through the iMovie app. So I want to try something a little different just for today. So the gameplay you're seeing on screen is from my PS5, but I'm going to be editing this on my iMovie app on my phone. So I'm just going to be trying something out just for today. So I don't know, this might just be a one-time thing. This might be something new, but let me know what you folks think. I'm just going to be trying this out just for today, so I figure I'd give you folks a heads up on what's going on. So with this out of the way, let's get on with the topic of today's video. So Nintendo just had their Direct recently, and I gotta say, like, there are some things I really like about the Direct, and there are some things I really did not like, and there's going to be some things that we seriously need to discuss about. So, if you can tell for the tone of my voice, I'm going to try to remain as calm as I can throughout this video, and I'm going to try to not lose my marbles. Early spoiler, I am going to lose my marbles, but I'm going to try to remain as calm as I can for this, because I love Nintendo. Like, I played Nintendo games growing up. It's one of my favorite companies, and I enjoy playing Nintendo games a lot, but after this direct, now I'm just kind of hesitant and I'm just iffy. Like earlier this year, I think it was last month, if not a couple months ago actually, I made a video talking about the Switch 2 and how it seems interesting. But now that I've seen the cracks in the armor so soon, now I'm starting to see the, I guess, writing on the wall a little bit early. And I'm gonna try to remain very calm about this. I'm gonna try to not lose my marbles, but before I do go off on a tangent, I do want to say this. There are some games, like I mentioned, that are really cool. I mean, we got the new Mario Kart game announced. I mean, we got some Switch 1 games that are accessible through the Switch 2, which is pretty cool. And then we got other games announced for the Switch. I think Cyberpunk was announced at one point, which I think was bananas, but even then, man, like, I have a feeling some people might be skeptical after the original release of Cyberpunk still, but overall, I thought the Direct was pretty cool itself. But then, after like a couple hours today, at least by the time of the recording of this video, I started to notice something online, and I started to notice some content creators, well, at least from some people, one of them being Young Yeah, and he came out with a video talking about, oh, hey, something is wrong with the direct. There's some shady business stuff going on, and they're not being upfront with customers. And I decided to do a little bit of research online myself, and I was like, oh, hey, what's going on here? Something's a little sus. So I decided to do a little bit of research into this, and apparently, what Nintendo didn't really tell us during the showcase for their Switch 2 was the price point for this stuff. Like, how much will the Switch 2 cost? What is the cost of, like, these video games? Because, once again, they had a great direct when they showed off some of the games. Games like Cyberpunk, games like Elden Ring, which I'm excited for, and games like the newest Mario Kart World. And they didn't really show the price point. Like, the games themselves look really good, don't get me wrong, but they didn't really talk about the price. Like, how much will these games cost at launch? Will it cost $60? Will it cost $70? How much? And Nintendo's response was nothing. Like, they didn't even mention the price points for most of this stuff. And if they did, I was not aware of it because I watched that whole direct and I did not really see the price point for the Switch 2. I did not see it for any of these games. The thing I did see is that the Switch 2 will be coming out in June 5th. And I gotta say, man, like, I'm just not interested in the Switch 2. Because there's some stuff that Nintendo was being really shady and really quiet about, because they know that, oh, hey, there's so many things going on in the game industry, like, oh, these games are costing $70 now, which they tested out with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and all of a sudden, now they think that they can charge at least $80 or $90 for video games. No, I am not joking. Go ahead and take a look at this screenshot. So if we go to Nintendo's webpage for Mario Kart World Tour, we can see that the game costs $80. And if we go to Twitter, you can see that the digital copies cost like $80, but the physical copies, if you want to get one, is like $90. And oh boy, people on Twitter are just jaw dropped. Like, Jesus Christ. You thought that $70 was crazy? You thought that the $70 increase was insane? Oh, Nintendo decided to take it a step further, and they just basically told everyone in the game industry and these companies, hold my beer, watch this. And then all of a sudden they just face planted right onto the table, and they just completely made a complete clown of themselves. Like, seriously? $80 to $90 for a freaking video game? This makes like the GTA 6 rumors possible. Like, we heard rumors of GTA 6 possibly costing $100, but at this point, that might as well become a goddamn reality. Like, $80 or $90 for a video game? That is a massive purchase for a lot of people. And some people simply just can't afford that kind of money just to drop on a video game on a daily basis. At this point, like, now it's starting to get to the point where you gotta choose. Like, do you feed your family for the whole week? Or are you going to blow off that kind of money and waste it on a video game? Like, are you kidding me? Like, who in their right mind would think that spending $80 or $100 or $90 even? Who thinks that's completely okay? And these companies think that it's okay, and Nintendo thinks that they can try to snake their way through the whole game industry situation where, yeah, everyone else is making $70 video games. Well, we'll raise the standards even higher to $80 to $90. Like, are you freaking kidding me, Nintendo? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? And this next part, this one is going to piss me off a lot, which, volume warning, by the way. So, physical media. So, for the Switch 2, we have physical copies of the games, right? Well, apparently, Nintendo has introduced a thing called key cards, which apparently means you have to fully download the game, which means, oh, hey, you know that physical copy of the Switch 2? Yeah, guess what? That's just a digital key card for the game. So you don't have full access to the game. Meaning that, oh, hey, you know that key card you think is a physical copy? Nah, it's a digital copy of the game. So you fully install that game? Oh, guess what? It's a digital copy of the game instead, buddy. You have a key card that allows you to get access to the game. You don't have the actual physical copy of said game. You want the actual physical copy? Spend more money on our game for $90, please. I facepalmed my face so hard right now. Like, Jesus Christ. I get it. The game industry has been in a massive rut for a while. But do they seriously think that they can disrespect physical media like this? Now look, like I've already said, to be clear, there's a physical copy of the game for $90 that's real, and you own the game that way, but the key card is like a digital only copy of the game. And I'm just at a loss for words. And the whole point of this direct was supposed to show off like the price point for these games, the price point for these consoles, which I think the Switch 2 was rumored to be like $450, maybe more than that. But dude, I'm just absolutely jaw dropped to see how bad this is gone. Now, look, don't get me wrong. Seeing all the video games and all the fun stuff coming to the Switch 2, that's awesome. Like, I like the games that are coming. Do not get me wrong. But what pisses me off is the fact that Nintendo is being shady about this and trying to hide this from consumers. And I can only imagine if their parents are trying to go get their children a copy of the game, I can imagine it's going to confuse the hell out of people. And they're going to be like, well, what's the difference between a physical copy and a key card copy of the game? Like, what's the difference? Like, is this physical? Is this digital? Like, what's the difference here? Like, I can imagine some people are going to get absolutely confused and just be like, what's the difference here? Just, oh my goodness gracious. Talk about disrespecting the consumers. Like, it genuinely makes me super angry to see Nintendo do something like this. Because Nintendo, they were supposed to be, like, the heroes of, like, the gaming industry. When companies like Microsoft and Sony were completely pooing the bed, and Nintendo try to keep that like classic experience alive, but now they're starting to fall into the same modern gaming trap just like all the other companies. I mean, look at Sony for example. They were the boogeyman that started this entire trend with $70, and then Microsoft came along, and then Nintendo followed along suit as well, and guess what? Now things have just completely just went sideways, and the dark ages of modern gaming have gotten even worse. So, yeah, just because of all this nonsense that's going on with the Switch 2, I will not be buying this unless, there's like some kind of massive price drop in the Switch 2. Maybe I'll crack like an egg and get it, but as of now, I am not going to be buying the Switch 2. That is for certain. So, yeah, it sucks seeing stuff like this happen, but once again, don't get me wrong, like their direct showcasing the video games looked really cool. Don't get me wrong, but seeing just stuff like this just genuinely makes me angry. So, yeah, like I've already said, maybe if there's a price drop for the Switch 2 when it comes out, or at some point down the line, maybe I'll crack like an egg and maybe I'll get it. But as of now, I just do not see any point of me buying the Switch 2. So, yeah, because of this, I will not be buying the Switch 2 until further notice. So, with this being said, thank you everyone for watching and for listening. And until next time, I'm just disappointed with Nintendo. And I'll see you all later.